Hello, and welcome to Hydra Collectibles, where we let our geek flag fly. I'm Luke Smith, and I'm your host, and today we're going to talk about my origin story into comics. Every hero and villain has an origin story, a moment in life that makes them who they are. At almost 35 years old, I'm already the man who I'll probably remain to be. But how did I get here? What made me the way I am today? Growing up, I was quite a good kid. I worked reasonably well. I was very talkative, very cheeky. I wasn't odd enough to be bullied, and I wasn't cool enough to be popular. I remember starting secondary school, or high school if you're in the US, and my mum giving me my lunch money. And rather than take it and put it on this little chip card in order to get my lunch, I decided to go to the comic store. It was along the way, and yeah, I would go in there and raid their 20p bin. So, kind of 20 cents, 30 cents kind of area if you're over in the US. Within this box, I was finding Web of Spider Man, a few X Men titles, the odd Morbius or Blade book. Nothing that was really as popular as it is today. And I was taking these books down with me to the school and basically selling them for a profit. I was buying the books at 20 pence and I was selling them for 50 pence. And that helped me buy not only more books on the way home from school to sell the next day, but also kept me fed with my lunch money. So it's fair to say that from a very young age, I was already flipping books. I don't really flip books that much anymore. Mostly I just go out looking for my own personal collection, but that's for a different video. As time went on and the year proceeded, my profits grew, and eventually I was able to buy the more expensive books within the store. One thing that always captivated me was the Marvel Flair 94 trading cards. I remember being a kid and going into Blockbuster Video with my parents every Friday night and picking out some movies and also getting a free pack of these cards. Seeing them in the comic book store, I knew that I wanted to complete the whole set. So, using this money that I was acquiring over the time, I was able to purchase some of these Marvel cards as well as more expensive comics for me to keep myself. I continued like this for a number of years until eventually it started to dwindle. I started getting interested in girls and started going out on dates, and the comics kind of just took a slide. And yeah, I didn't really go back for a long, long time. It wasn't until 2013 where I made a return to comics. I travelled down around my local town, having worked abroad for many years, and stumbled upon a comic shop. I went inside and picked up a couple of books. I picked up Spider Man because that was something that I've always loved and admired, and I was told that a new upcoming story was going to be coming in the next few months. Something big. Intrigued, I picked up a couple of back issues and proceeded to read them once I got home. This storyline that was coming was Superior Spider Man, where Dr. Octopus goes into the mind and the body of Peter Parker. I absolutely loved this story. This was Spider Man at his best, in my opinion, and it really did secure me back into comic books. From that moment on, I continued reading. I couldn't always afford to purchase the books, but I read a lot online, and again, living in the area that I'd been away from for so long, I was able to start going to conventions and meet people who were also interested in this sort of stuff. I was very lucky to have met Dan Slott and have him sign my entire run of Superior Spider-Man. Sadly, once again, my love of comics just wasn't meant to be, and the comics started dwindling again for real life things. I got married, I had kids, I got a mortgage. Life was pretty good, but comics weren't part of it. It was a sad thing that brought me back into comics. On the 12th of November 2018, we lost Stan Lee. On that day, it felt like every geek lost a grandfather. And I, like so many others, began to reminisce and reread issues that we loved as children. And then it kind of just started from there. The as sad as it was, the death of Stan Lee really did ignite something within. I started reading these books on a nightly basis and being filled with that joy that I had as a child. I then hit to all the local comic shops and eBay and started purchasing books that I could find. And now, 2020, I've got quite the vast collection. So, yeah, thank you, Stan. Even in your passing, you have brought so much joy to my life. And now comics are such a big part of what makes me me. So, there you have it. that's my origin into comics. So along the way, I dipped in and out, and there were loads of titles that I picked up on. I was a big fan of Walking Dead when that first came out, and so I was collecting those issues, or at least reading them online. I actually had an entire Walking Dead collection, which sadly I had to give up. But bills got to be paid. I was also very lucky to have met Stan back in 2012 when he came over for a Comic Con here in London. I took my favourite comic from when I was a child, the first appearance of the Lizard, which I still have to this day, the Lizard being one of my favourite characters of all time. So yeah, that's it. That's a wrap. That's my life of comic books. So until next time, I'll see you in another life. Take care.